Hi, this is Kat Chancellor with Stamp Art Connection and StampArtConnection.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I wanted to demonstrate the Classic Cloche set. And this bundle is in the new catalog, and so you kind of have this set here, but then if you go back over here, you have this bundle. And this bundle is kind of cool because, and I guess why I like this set so much is because you get a lot out of it. And I've already done another card. I've showed you how I've used the dies to cut this piece out and make a shaker card. Well, now I'm going to use the Classic Cloche, not the Sweets and Treats, which is what I used before. I'm going to use the Classic Cloche bundle to create what you see here is this card here, and it's going to be this card. So we're going to need some cardstock. Now my base card I want to make using just simply Whisper White, and then I'm going to use some designer series paper, and this comes from the Penguins and More Celebrations free. Let me show you where you can get this. You can get it here free when you put an order in under Celebrations, which goes until 30 September. I'm going to use the back, which is this really nice design of trees. And I'm going to need just a piece of Whisper White cardstock for my back base, which I'm going to stamp. But I may pick the lightest blue, which is Pool Party. So I think I might play around with those instead of Balmy Blue, since I'm using a green. Maybe I'll go with the green. You're also going to need some, we're going to do some embossing. So I'm going to bring in my embossing things. And what we're going to use is we're going to use silver embossing powder. So you can see I have my little tray set up here with my little embossing button. So we're going to use silver. I also have some silver foil paper that I have backed right here with that double backing paper, and I'm just going to cut this off right here. But I have that double backing adhesive paper, so you really do need that. So I'm going to have a piece of that, and then I have a piece of just simply the green that's going to go with my designer series paper. So let's just go ahead and put all that aside, and let's get started. My base card is going to be this one in Whisper White. So this is going to be scored at, I have my little score thing right here at 5.5. Okay, and I'm going to grab my bone folder. So there's my base card. I'm then going to cut a piece of this out of a 5 1/4 by 4. So let's go ahead and cut this at 4. Move my score piece, cut that at 4, and this is going to be 5 1/4. So 5 1/4. Okay, and this is going to layer very nicely on top of this card right here. Now we're going to need one more layer. Yes, I'm going to use my rectangle stitched framelit dies. Let me go in here. And I have this one already marked because I've made another card with that. But let's see where I want to go with this. I think it's going to be one larger. I just have these kind of nested on some, and that's carpet. I have this nested on some of the magnetic sheets so I can kind of keep them neat. When I have a piece that I'm going to use, I take it and I turn it over. Like I'm looking at it for something I'm going to use for another project. I turn it over like that so I can find it easily. So that's kind of how I kind of have those. So let's go ahead and take this piece and we're going to run this through my Big Shot. Okay, so I've run that through my Big Shot and I'm just going to go ahead and probably cut this here because I want to save that little piece. I'm going to throw this away. I've got a little scrap pile. And there, that gives a nice, these give a nice stitched edge to your cardstock. And that is going to be the piece we're going to layer right there. Now, this piece is going to have a backing, and that's what our piece of Whisper White is. So I'm going to want to take this piece here. You can see my Whisper White, just a piece of Whisper White. And I'm going to cut this so that it is, you know, I actually could cut it so that it is exactly the same size. Bring in my little cutter. I'm just going to mark these two pieces right here. I'm going to cut this to size with my little mini cutter. And this is going to fit nicely right behind this piece here. Okay, so now we have our layers. And we're going to cut our hole, our hole for our die. And let me just see if I can kind of move in. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and with this, because it's so small, I think I can use my mini. Yep, I can use my mini cutter. I've got several layers for this piece. We have the house layer. We have the piece that we're going to cut with. We have the piece we're going to use the silver embossing. And we have the piece that's going to color the houses, and then we have our die cut. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to take our block and we're going to stamp it with our pool party. Then we're going to take that off. And we're going to, let me bring in my mat, because these are photopolymer. I failed to bring in my mat. I'm going to stamp it off with United Navy. So I'm going to just go ahead and line this up. Okay, so there's the Knight of Navy. Now that I have the Knight of Navy, we're going to pull this aside and we're going to take our last piece And this is the one that has all the trees. And we're going to do this one. Grab my Versamark. And then we're going to Versamark this. And grab silver embossing powder. That was a three-step stamping. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cut this out. There we go. Okay, there we go. Let me just bring that in so you can see. Yeah, so there you go. Sure. Just want to do that. Because see, this is going to fit right here like that. Okay. So what I'm doing is, because I've just got these kind of light colors, I want to add, and I can take the edge of this and just kind of cut a long one right here. And just take this and put this on the back. And I'm going to probably put this one right there. Okay. And then I'm going to take one more. I'm going to cut just a little bit. Cut a little piece right there. And it's kind of a diamond piece. So I'm going to put that. Yeah. See that? How I have it? And I'm going to put this one to go. Right there. Okay, isn't that pretty? So I just took some of those little pieces and just kind of added them. Now that I have that done, I'm going to put on my window. But before I do that, I want to grab my embossing buddy, and I just kind of want to just kind of emboss this front part here. I can add some of that, and then I can kind of brush it away. But I want a little bit of that embossing stuff there. I'm then going to take this, and I'm going to pull off the top piece of my dome. And grab my tool. And I'm going to lay it down, and I'm going to place now. I like to take my bone folder, and I like to go around the edge make sure that this adheres nicely. Again, I have some gold here. Okay, so that should be kind of nicely put on there. And that is going to go on here. See how pretty that is? I'm going to take some snow. I've got some different, I have some choices here. I can use some subtle shimmer sequins. Add them in here. Okay. And these are in the watch. I'm just going to turn my little tool here. Pick up my sequins. Tool. I have some leftover ice stamping glitter. I'm just going to pick some of that up with my little tool. And I'm just going to put that right there. That's retired, but the other one isn't. Now I'm going to pull off the back, and I'm going to place this right there. And again, I'm going to use my bone folder to make sure that that goes all the way around. And because this is up, I'm just going to grab some snail. I'm just going to go ahead and snail down my corners there, because that was my whole piece. Okay, so now this is going to go on top of that. Let's go ahead and close some of these things here, which is going to go on top of that. Okay, so now I'm going to take let me grab a tool. Just flick that around and push out these little pieces in here, the pieces that I need. So it kind of looks like a wood grain. Kind of looks like a wood grainy piece. And because I use that adhesive backing, I can just kind of pull that off. And I can put this on my little piece of green. Put a little bit of snail. And just adhere that there. And then use my bone folder there. Okay, then I'm going to take these two. I'm going to put them back. The sentiment is, it's the most wonderful time of the year, and that's going to go right there. I'm going to grab a block, and I'm going to put that right there. I'm going to pick it up with a block. Because that's photopolymer, I'm going to grab my Stampin' Piercing mat. And I'm going to use Light of Navy. Stamp that up. And there it is. Isn't that pretty? So here's the front of my card, my base card. I have a piece I'm going to put right there. So because I'm using I like to use my tear tape for this. And then my little trees kind of going like that. So I'm going to just go ahead and lay that down. Now I want to pop. I have a choice. I can leave this flat or I can pop it out. Remember, I cut that piece of Whisper White that fit perfectly on the back. So it will look really nice if I just pop it up. And we will go ahead and put that right there. And there is your shaker card. And there's your shaker card. Using Pool Party and Night of Navy. This card here, same kind of card, only I use the I use this DSP, comes from the same pack with Night of Navy. A Penguin Place was is what I used for my little stars in the background that I used with Pool Party. We used our silver embossing. Of course, we had our dimensionals, and then we just need Versamark. We needed the stamp set and the dies that are part of the set right here. And the trick to it, I guess if there is a trick, is that this is 3-step stamping. You want to stamp the background, then you want to stamp the houses, and then you want to stamp the kind of the tree foliage. But there you go. Classic Cloche, a wonderful stamp set. I hope you like the video. Please like and share, and let me know how you like it. I'll be making some more cards using these wonderful Cloche Shaker Domes. So thank you so much for joining me. It was a long video, but hopefully you enjoyed it. This is Kat Chancellor, Stamp Art Connection, and StampArtConnection.com. Happy stamping and God bless. So now I'm going to go back to my dies, and I have two pieces I have to cut. I have to cut the bottom here, and I have to cut kind of like a wood piece out of silver right there. I'm going to take this piece, and I want to put this high enough cutting plate. I want to put this high enough because if you look at my sample here, I want to have a sentiment here at the bottom. So we're going to put this right about there, like that. That's how we're going to center it. Okay? So it's no more than maybe a ½ inch or so. Let me pull this out. Now, I will tell you that from my old cutter, I really miss my magnetic plates, and I hope Stampin' Up! Will make some magnetic plates. So what I do is I still use a Post-it note to just kind of hold my dies in place. And that looks like it's pretty centered. Okay, so we're just going to pull this off and put it over here. So there is our die. Okay, so this is going to go right here, and then this is going to go right here. So what we're going to do is this is going to be a background, and I'm going to stamp this with the stars that come from the stamp set. Okay, the stars came from my Penguin Place stamp set. So I have these little stars that I'm going to use. So I've got my piece that I cut like that. And I'm just going to go ahead and grab I'm just going to go ahead and stamp these stars. And they kind of fit nicely if you just kind of work them around. Let's see, let me put this right here. See, and you can kind of see how they fit rather nicely. And just keep going around. It's really not a stress event, right? Yeah, so that pretty much covers it. I'm going to remind myself to put this in my directions that this is where I got the little stars. Okay, so now that we have our top